Hey, it's WookieFanboi, and I want to welcome you back to watching more of my videos. Today is more of the same day, the Thorn Bounty on one character, the Titan. And there's nothing really much to say about this except to, again, illustrate that there are definite advantages to having a bad network connection, and also that I wanted to give you guys some information about the way network connections work in the Crucible in Destiny. So here we're in Rusted Lands, and you'll notice that more than half the people playing in this particular instance were, or I guess it was just about half the people playing in this instance were playing with a bad connection. And the way the connections work is this, that the Destiny servers do the matchmaking. But then once you're in game, whenever you're in a game, whether it's the regular player versus environment, that's the story missions and patrol and stuff like that, or you're in the player versus player, you're handed off to a peer-to-peer. So somebody is a host, and generally the person who's hosting is the person with the best internet connection. So when you start realizing that everyone has worse connections than you, it's probably because you're the host. And while it's some people are going to try to give you a hard time if you make this observation in some kind of public forum like Reddit or on any other discussion site, don't let them do that. It's not your fault. It is absolutely the network connection is still bad from their end, and frequently it's bad intentionally. So what you have to do is there are certain things you can do to give yourself a better chance at winning against these people. The first thing is, I've said this in previous videos, is to be more aggressive. So don't wait behind corners. If you've got a green network connection and you're able to see people fairly well, get on it. Don't wait around corners. If you see somebody on your radar, get to that person right away. I also suggest teamwork. So it's almost never good to try one-on-one. So the really best Crucible players are working in teams of 2 or 3, and you've seen that in previous videos where somebody will take one entrance and somebody else will take the other entrance and just start firing inside of any room. Usually the capture points are in rooms, and they're generally not out in the open. Earlier on, there were more capture points in the open, but Crucible players made a big stink about it, I guess. So they've moved some of the capture points around. Now, I wanted you to also realize that this guy Yoda took RA has a bad network connection, and you'll notice that he's able to move really fast. Like he was in the second area of my. So there's the center circle, there's the outside ring, and then there's the middle ring of your radar. And if somebody's close enough for you to maybe get a grenade to them or something like that, they're going to be in the second circle or closer. So the middle ring. The outer ring is probably good for like long distance weapons like ARs and not fusion rifles. I'll think of it, but Meta multi-tools and scout rifles. So those people, those weapons are good. Close in your inner circle, obviously, like a melee is good. And then you've got to kind of figure out shotguns and so on. But anyway, you're going to notice that people with red network connections are able to move suddenly very, very quickly. Like whether you're syncing with them, like this guy, for instance. I was actually able to get a grenade off of him, so that was like one of my best moments in this game. Was even though I'd missed him with the rocket, I still was able to get him with a grenade before I died. Just actually as his as his super animation is going on. And whenever possible, save your super for when you know, you can take out 2 or 3 people at a time.
Zone A lost.
Don't super just one person. I mean, it's fine. You personally will get more points than just doing a melee or something like that, because super gives you more points than a grenade or a melee. But it's much better to save it for multiple people, a multi-kill, because you're going to be providing orbs of light for your teammates, and that's going to allow them to do their supers much more quickly, much more easily.
Total control. Good work.
And you'll see that this here I should have just kept with the AR. I didn't. I tried to switch to shotgun and ended up getting shotgun myself. So he was able to switch. I'm actually able to switch quite quickly, normally speaking, between weapons. So I don't. My animations aren't that bad. So yeah. For some reason here I got stuck on that wall a lot. I ended up. It might be a good strategy for some if that's something you're willing to do. If you think you've got the. But the guys with blink really really are bothersome sometimes.
Heavy ammo inbound.
But standing on top of the outer wall is not an easy thing to do for sure. Maybe for some people it is, but not.
Heavy ammo available.
That's nice. So he and I both had green, but green network connection. So the attacks ended up hitting at the same time, as did the attack animations and death animations and so on. And don't let anyone tell you that a high high rate of fire. Now, right there, you can see that the guy suddenly moved back, and that's the problem with the red network connections, is that you're never really firing where a person is. And what does that mean? Well, that means that, like my teammate there did, you have to fire rockets or something like that to make sure, in an area of effect, so you're able to do any damage to something. And again, this is something that is kind of wasteful. So why do I use grenades all the time on single people instead of throwing them into groups? Well, one, it's pretty tough to find a group unless you're coming up on a group of 3 or 4 capturing a point. But also because I want to make sure that the kill is going to be made possible, right? So if you can't really tell where someone is, aiming an AR or a scout rifle or
enemy captured Zone A.
Any of the primaries is going to be very difficult to do. And don't let anyone tell you differently, because wherever the character representation is on the screen, that person isn't there. It's just where your console thinks that person is. And so that's why you see somebody suddenly jump from one place to another in the Crucible. That's why I took a swing there, by the way, the melee, because there's no way really to know where that person is, and you might as well take a swing and do some damage or possibly do some damage, rather than letting them take over. Just keep going down, fighting basically. So that guy Books, he is basically teamed with someone else, and you'll see that in the beginning of the video that a number of people who have good network connections are teamed with people who have bad network connections. So they're teams of 2, and I'm still trying to figure out the significance and the advantage there, although there apparently is. Maybe somebody's looking out for someone else or whatever. And if you see here, the person at the top of the leaderboard was the person on our team who had the worst network connection. They were in the red. Basically the top scorers on each team were in red. And you can see that that has a definite advantage. The KD, the kill to death ratio, was very high for that person, and it's because the opposing team couldn't tag where that person was. So we'll see more in the next video. Thanks for watching.